Hey guys, I just wanted to check in with you again. I've seen some people turn in their two column story scripts, and they were looking good. They had good plans. A lot of them I noticed were newsy. Like they seem like they're kind of exactly like what we're seeing on the national news. Overviews requiring a lot of shots from what news reporters would gather, not something you can gather from your house. You're okay to do those. It will require a lot of hunting down what's royalty free, what are people willing to share, who all do I need to credit, because a lot of times news organizations, they're competitors. They are not willing to share their information. So NBC doesn't want you just taking their footage and using it for your stuff. Now, we do have a little bit of an excuse because we're educational and it's for an educational purpose. So you could get by with 3 to 5 seconds if that's what you want to do. However, what I originally had in mind is something more local, something more personal, putting your personal spin on it. So I'll share a few demonstrations I put together with you, and I'll share this slide with you so you have it. Um, I, for everything that I've edited for this, I didn't put all of my footage on because it's a lot, but I did all the A-roll that I recorded, so whatever, the story that I recorded is in the COVID uploads folder for you, which I've already shared with you, and it's right here, as well as the final export, so you can see it there, and the script, so you can see how I planned it. But it's also within this PowerPoint. So the idea, thanks to the student who asked me for time limits, it needs to be about a minute minimum. But don't feel like it has to go on forever. It doesn't need to be an in-depth news story. 3 to 4 minutes max would be good. You can see the length of mine and kind of get an idea. But basically, I just want you to put your own spin on this COVID situation. And since I want it to be your own spin, I'd like at least 30% of the footage to be original material. That doesn't mean you have to have been the one who shot it, but it needs to have been something that you got from the drive, so it's something that I shot. I mean, if it's MHS produced, that's going to make us look better because we actually created something that we're going to put out in the world instead of we recycled stuff that was already out there. So better to be stuff that you were able to gather and create, and that's part of your assignment this week, to gather some of that stuff. You don't have to have all of it for your stuff, and your grade will continue to go up as you submit more material. So one of the angles that we could have done, and one of the angles I did, was testimonial. And of course, in my experience, my testimony is of me at home with my daughter trying to work, the two of us trying to work together. So I put together, well, what I did is I shot samples, recordings of me and her working at the same time. And then I reviewed the footage and saw some trends in those samples. And so in this, I have, here's exactly what I decided to say about it. And, well, here's what I decided to say about it. And here's the shots that go along with it. So there's that. And you can get to it through here. It ends up being a 2-minute long video. I think I added some music. Yes, I did add some music from YouTube Audio Library, and I credited it in the sources. It's good to add music because it brings up the energy of the dole. Just make sure it doesn't drown out your dialogue. I think in the end it got a little bit loud there. But that's all I'll say about that. Now, the next one is tips. You could put together a list of tips from your experience. What are some tips you could give people? So I did that. I gave maybe 6 tips, and there's one tip I wish I added. I wish I added that I got to keep that pantry door closed because my baby keeps walking outside the pantry door wanting another snack. She keeps pulling a snack out each time. But you can see, how long did it get to be? 1.5 minutes nearly. So there's that. The titles are unique, which is cool. I made them from I wanted a font that said crazy because the thing was about staying sane through COVID. So I just searched font maker and used one that made it crazy, but just took screen pictures because I didn't even want to download the font thing. So there's that. YouTube Audio Library again with the music. But what I did is I just jotted down some tips based on my experience, helps me keep living through this. And you can see the tips if you watch the video. Yeah, there's that. So the A-roll is me talking about it, and the B-roll is just what I did. I'm not crazy about that shot. Most of these shots were used from other projects. My favorite one, which I'm hoping I can produce, um, but I need the help of some other people who are willing to shoot, because I'm only one person with kids. And if one of you is willing to shoot, just you trying to work together with your brother or sister, I would love that. So anyway, here's the plan. There's this Sam Cooke song. Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. I linked it here so you can listen to it. And I took those lines as is, but the last two lines I changed, and from but I do know that I love you, and I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be. So instead of that, I say, but I do know that I love you, and I know that until COVID's through, this is how our world's got to be. And then I decided to take his last line of the song for a nice concluding sound. And right here, I just describe what shot's going to be used through it. It's going to be pretty much the same shot, but with different parents with their kids working on material, and the parents singing kind of to the camera, kind of to the kid. So that parents would know what this is supposed to look like, I recorded a sample, and I will use my sample unless the parents knock my socks off. It's just the name of the day. Okay. About history. So you got the kid working here. Don't know much biology. You got me. But each new line will be a new parent and new kid, and it will be meshed together, and I think it'll look cool. So I want you to start thinking outside the box of news. I hope that my research project didn't send you straight down the path of, I got to produce something newsy. You don't. You could do a music video, you could do testimonial, you could do tips, and here's some other suggestions. This is one I'd like to produce because I've posted stuff about germophobia in the past on my Facebook page. I could use this B-roll, and just say, I've been a germaphobe for a while. Well, since I'm a germ-conscious person, here are some things I've noticed under the COVID situation that aren't consistent with this whole keeping things clean thing. And I have a list here of some things that I could include, and I just need to get a shot of somebody delivering food to the door, which I have an old food container. I could pretend somebody delivered to the door, just have somebody act that out. This one is hilarious, and I knew I thought of another one to go with it, but I can't remember what it is. Making fun of the hoarders. Like, think of a reason that somebody might be hoarding all this stuff that really isn't true, but it's just kind of making fun of them. So for this one, standing in line at the store, you turn around and you ask somebody, why is there such a rush on toilet paper? And then the dude behind you, who of course is an actor, and says, dude, they told us we got to start washing our hands. I'm not doing that. I'll just start wiping with toilet paper when I use the restroom. That's gross, as if he hadn't been wiping with toilet paper all along. Like, he's just been using his hands, but now that he has to wash. No. Okay, anyway, I think it's funny. Another one is just the pros and cons of working at school versus working at home. I have a list of the pros of working at school, but those are for me. I'm sure students don't care so much about the custodians or... So if you change it around, you could probably say, I can have a snack every 15 minutes. But those are some ideas, lists, that they're easy to do. You just think of something related to this COVID circumstance. It doesn't have to deal with sickness itself, but just how we're stranded at home and all that. And tell your story and put your B-roll with it. You don't have to edit it, of course. You just have to gather the video to go with it. And it's looking like we're going to be back late in the year, so I would love for you to edit it if you can. And I give you in my presentation for the week some links to materials on how with iMovie on your phone, or if you have a PC with what is it called? The Windows Photos app, you can do the editing right there. I would like to see it edited, but I know for our projects, we want multiple layers, and in those programs, you can't usually use multiple layers of video and audio, so it's frustrating. So if you don't have Premiere, I'm not expecting you to edit it at home. I'm just looking forward to seeing what you gather, and hopefully we can put it together before we're all out of here. Um, so hopefully that helped with ideas.